All right, welcome everyone. Happy New Year. We want to welcome you back to Be Free in 23. This is part 2 of a 3-part session. Now, how many of you have already watched or attended the first part of Be Free in 23, which we delivered? Type in the chat box, okay? Just want to see, type in the chat box. Did you watch, or were you live at part 1? All right. Looks like not yet, says Sean. Okay, I saw that flash by me pretty quick. Oh, there's another not yet. Another one. Okay, no worries. Most people have definitely participated in the first part of our session. And rather than repeat myself and what we did in that session, what I do suggest for those of you that missed the first session that we did together, please be sure to go back and watch it again. Because what we're doing in these 3 parts is we're building upon ideas. And in the first part, one of the things that was suggested to you is to declare what it is that you would love, whether they are what some people call resolutions or goals or whatever. And I don't believe that January 1st is the only time of year that we should be thinking about our goals. Our goals should become a part of our everyday life. And anyone that's a very serious goal setter and goal achiever would definitely have goals set prior to the 1st of January. However, this time of year definitely invites us to perhaps think a little differently, maybe think a little expansively. I find that when we get to this time of the year, because it is a new year, a new beginning, that a lot of people start to think, what would I really love? What would I really love to do? What would I love to have? Where do I want to go? What do I want to create in my life? And part 1 was really speaking to that idea, speaking to that concept. For those of you that didn't watch it, make sure you go back and watch it, because today's class that we're doing here together is definitely going to be the next step in that process. And it is a process, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, what I love to do with all of the sessions that we do together is have them be participatory. And so there will be times that I will ask you questions, and I'm going to ask that you answer them in the chat box, just like we did earlier before we even started, was asking people, where are you connecting from? And then people were typing in the cities where they're coming from. Don't do it now, by the way. And, then I asked, how many of you watched the first session? A number of you were answering. So during the session today, I do have some questions for you, and I will ask that you answer them. And it's important that you answer them because it is part of the teachings that we are going to be doing with you over this period of time. And I want you to take it really seriously. So whatever you have going on in your life, if you have a phone beside you or whatever, just turn the volume off, turn it off. Just take that little button if you have an iPhone and move it to off. If you're on your computer, which I'm sure you are, many people are, close your mail so that it's not distracting you. Don't pay attention to chats. Close the door if you're in a room where there's a door, just so that you can really give this that you can really give this your undivided attention. Why? Because we're talking about you. We're talking about your life. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about you taking your life to a whole new level, a positive level, a wonderful level, if that's something that you would love to do. Now, how many of you would love to take your life to a whole new level? How many of you would love that? Yes? Okay, type in the chat box. Hey, thank you. Okay, I do. Okay, good. Well, you're absolutely in the right place. I think by you being here, it really says a lot about who you are as well. And I think back to January 1979, which was 43 years ago now, and I chose to attend a seminar, much like you're doing here right now, that absolutely changed my life. It positively changed my life. And I want you to know something. There is very likely something that you're going to hear today, whether you've heard it before or not, that's going to just light a fire within you. It's going to prompt something within you. It's going to have you connect to possibilities and really have you think from unlimited potential, which is what you have. And I believe that if you're really paying attention, that what we can help you with, what we can help you accomplish, can absolutely permanently change your life for the better as well. So this isn't a temporary fix or a Band-Aid solution. What we do at Dynamic Destinies is we are here to help you have lasting change, not just a temporary thing, because that's really where the difference lies, because there's so much more that you can do. There's so much more that you can experience. There's so much more that you can have. And it is absolutely every one of you. It is your birthright. So yes, you are, Andrea. Andrea wrote, I am God's highest form of creation. You are absolutely God's highest form of creation. Every one of you is the highest form of creation. So what we're going to be doing here today is, I'd say we're going to do three things. I hold up two fingers. See if you're paying attention. Okay, we're going to do three things. One, I'm going to give you some guidance and some teachings, and that's where the lessons will be. Two, I'm absolutely going to be giving away some gifts, some freebies, some bonuses. And Vladdy, you can help me with that if you will. I'm going to explain in a moment how you can win these things, and I'll explain what they are. And the third thing is I'm going to address any questions that you have. So when you have a question, something that pops in your mind, please be sure to type it in the chat box as well. Now, I would suggest wait a little while to start asking your questions because I have some teaching to do and some lessons to cover, but I'm definitely here for you and I'm going to address any question that you may have as well for the time period that we are here together. Does that sound good to you? All right, bonus. All right, let's rock and roll. So I'm going to share my screen and head over to a PowerPoint presentation that I have prepared for you relative to what we're talking about today. And I want to start by identifying this word free, right? Freedom. I'm actually going to stop the screen share for a moment. So freedom. Now, when we think about freedom and the idea behind this particular event was about being free in 2023. Now, if we think about that, being free, what does that really mean? What does that mean to you? Type some answers in the chat box. I want to see what your thoughts are. We've talked about this before. I want you to think expansively on this idea, this concept of being free. What does that really mean? What does it mean to you? And what about that attracts? Okay, here we go. Beautiful. All right. So we've got financially free, right? Freedom of choice. Absolutely. Free to create the life I desire, says Patty Lee. Now, that's something I would assume all of you desire to create the life that you desire. Yes? Yes, of course. Free from stress, says Miriam. I love that. Free mentally, financially, beautiful. Sean, to be, do, and have anything I love. Doing what I want, when I want, wherever I want, with whoever I want, right, Michelle? Having choice, time freedom, new attitude, self-image, change my life for the better. Financial freedom, freedom of my time, peaceful abundance, peace, time and money, freedom, being able to choose my life, being in business for myself, do what I want when I want, free of fears, anxiety, limitations. I do what I want, live where I want. No financial restrictions, says Dawn. I can go anywhere I want. Earning 133,000 euros per month, says Martina. Being able to do what I want when I want. Chang, free in love, free in money, free in action. Time, location, money, freedom, says Kevin. Creating my calendar, says Diane. Unlimited options, says Rich. No concerns about the future. Okay, well, we got a lot of answers there. Okay, oh, I like this. Okay, we're getting some specific things here. Living in a condo by the beach. Okay, I like that. All right, so obviously you have an idea of what that really means. And that's what attracted you to this. Okay, now let's just take this concept a little bit further for a moment, okay? All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about living your life in freedom, as you've defined here, freedom from commitment, freedom to live the way you want, freedom from anxiety. Okay, so now that you're living your life that way, what's going on? So think about this. You know, last week, my husband and I had checked into a very special place. It was an inn that we went to. And I had booked this inn a while back with the intention of finishing my book, Savvy Wisdom from Beyond, which I did. It's done. It's now into formatting stage. It's being designed. The interior is being designed and all of that. And that's coming out in the next little while. So we went to this inn and I was thinking about you guys. And I'm always thinking about you. I'm always thinking about how will we serve better than we've ever served before? And where are your challenges and how can we help you overcome them? And how can we help you break free and really live that life that you're destined to live? And so I was thinking about that. And as my husband and I were seated in this 5-star restaurant at this gorgeous resort that we had checked into, I was sort of looking around the room and I'm thinking about a lot of people want that freedom to do what they want, to go where they want, whenever they want, to buy what they want, to spend freely as well, to purchase a home, a condo, whatever it is. They all want that desire. But what's going on internally, like in consciousness, as you're thinking about living free, like really living free? So as we're sitting in this 5-star restaurant, I'm looking around the room at the other people that were at the restaurant there for dinner. And I suppose the majority of the people that were having dinner at that restaurant were staying at the inn, because it wasn't like a downtown location. It was sort of off in the country. You had to drive to get there. So probably doesn't have any walk-in traffic off the street of people just looking for a place to go for dinner. And this particular inn was rather pricey, for most people, relatively speaking. And it was about $1,000 a night, to stay in this place. And the 5-star restaurant, they have this chef, one of the best chefs in the world. And if you look at the menu, you'll see things like a special. They've got all these wonderful ways of describing their different dishes and entrees, etc. But they'd have like an appetizer that would be $47, and I don't look at the prices. I mean, Bob Proctor taught me that many, many years ago. Don't look at the prices. Just ask yourself this question. Do you want it? Do you want it? And, that in of itself is a prosperity mentality kind of lesson. Like when you really shift your way of thinking and you're not thinking about, oh my goodness, this is expensive. It's neither expensive or inexpensive. There are very likely other restaurants where an entree or an hors d'oeuvre is significantly more than that. And think about a wine list, right? Like there's some wines you can order to your table that are $20 a bottle, and there's some that you can order to your table that are thousands of dollars a bottle. So what really goes on in the consciousness of the person who is looking at something or considering something? Are they really thinking as that free person? This is what I want you to understand. This is a very subtle distinction, but I want you to understand, are you really thinking as that person who is absolutely free from any financial, not obligations, but any stresses? You see, all of that stress, anxiety, worry, concern, anxiousness is all self-created. It is. Now, there may be some people who get upset by that. And it's true, people would get upset by that because they can justify why their life is like that, right? And they get all upset. Well, my life's like that because, and they have valid reasons for it. Yes, I understand that. However, in order to create something new, which is obviously what all of you want to do, there's more work to be done. There's a lot more work to be done. And you have to heighten your awareness and really become open and begin to pay attention to what are you thinking. So as we're sitting in this dinner and I'm at this restaurant, I'm looking around the room at these, couples or families that are there. And I'm thinking about, I wonder how many of them are in this restaurant feeling that freedom, no concern for what this bill is going to be at the end of the night, no concern whatsoever. Now, I thought of that idea because I had that years ago. I had that experience years ago where I'd go into like either a high class store or go into a fine restaurant, like a 5-star restaurant, and sit there and feel that anxiousness of how am I going to pay the bill? Now, I suspect some of you know what I'm talking about. Maybe many of you know what I'm talking about. But here's the distinction. When in your consciousness, you are thinking really as a free person, in your consciousness, you understand and recognize that you can have, do, be anything. And you're creating in this very moment, right here, right now, because we're all creating in this very moment. Then you need to be aware of what thoughts and what emotions are going on within you. And so if someone else was in that restaurant, which is the way I was many, many years ago, and they're thinking, how am I going to pay this bill? Or what's going to happen when the Visa bill comes in or the Visa statement comes in? And, maybe if I just order this rather than that, And it really comes down to this. What would you love? Like, that's freedom. When you're living free, you're living with the awareness and the understanding and the knowing that you can have anything that you want. Every single one of you can have anything that you want. And we at Dynamic Destinies can show you how to get it. So that's really freedom. It's not just a matter of a few words or a little description of what freedom is. It has to embody you in your entire consciousness. You've got to be thinking free. And I want you to write down those words. I am thinking free. I am thinking free. And I want you to recognize the next time that a limiting thought pops up for you, or a limiting feeling, or a feeling of anxiousness or worry, you just go to that place. That place is a new place in your consciousness. That place is you already are free. You're living your life in freedom. You're doing what you want, when you want, you're going where you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want, and you're doing it in style, right? And you are doing it in style. This becomes a way of being. You know, when I was studying over the holidays, and I was reading from a number of different books, because I don't just read one book. I usually have, as I could do right now, I could move my hand in any different direction and pull up and show you a bunch of books that are sitting here on my desk, because I'm constantly studying. And I was reading a book that was written about 100 years ago. And the book was talking about the industrial age. And we entered in an age back in the 90s called the information age. And this is when, you know, the world as we knew it really changed. I mean, think about it right now. We're here together on a Zoom call with people from all over the world and all different time zones. And I'm sitting here in my home in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Information age. There's a lot of information. And you can get lost in the information, right? You could go on YouTube and just be lost there for days, weeks, months, years, perhaps, because of all the information that's there. Now, that's wonderful, but it also creates a challenge for a lot of people too, because they're like this, you know, their head's spinning around. They're going, where do I go? What do I read? What do I study? Who do I follow? I don't know what to do. Blah, blah, blah. And I suppose some of you can really relate to what I'm talking about right now, right? There's a lot of information. When I first started studying personal development in January 1979, if you walked into a bookstore and went to look for a book, like let's say Wayne Dyer's book called Your Erroneous Zones, which are the self-destructing emotions. If you went into a bookstore, you'd find a small section of personal development or books on success. Now you walk into a bookstore and you'll find an entire building full of books on that topic. Now that's wonderful, but what does it do? It creates a challenge. Where do you go? What do you study? What do you apply? What do you learn? And so I believe we're now at a point for those of you that really want to make the change, that we're now in what I'm going to define as the implementation age. That's where we're at right now. This is the implementation age, because I know that it doesn't matter how much studying you're doing. It doesn't matter how many programs you're involved with. It doesn't matter how many videos you watch on YouTube. It doesn't matter how many books you read. What matters most is, are you applying it? Now, you don't even have to understand it. Now, understanding is valuable for sure, but are you applying it? And that's where, you know, as they say, rubber hits the road. That's the difference, is in the application. You've got to be applying. And for many years, when I first got into personal development and I was reading all these books and taking all these courses and going to all these seminars, I was sitting there like a hungry girl going, how? I wanted to know how. It wasn't enough for me to just learn this stuff. I wanted to implement. Why? Because I wanted the change, the lasting change. And that's what we can do for you. We can help you experience the lasting change, because if you don't put in systems, if you're not implementing disciplines into your life on a regular basis, nothing's going to change. Now, it's not that it's going to stay the same, because nothing stays the same. Things are either getting better or they're getting worse. They're either growing or they're dying. Now, a lot of people don't realize that. You very likely do, because you're here. You very likely do understand that, but it's the application. So we will be doing an exercise today that will serve you. It's not a homework assignment. It's something I'm going to recommend for you to do that can absolutely, positively change your life. And that's at the end of my lesson today. All right, so let's go to, I was just flashing by the chat box there on the right-hand side. And by the way, one of the gifts that I have is ADD, attention deficit disorder. Now I call it a gift because I can do multiple things at one time. And so one of the things that I saw on the right-hand side, and it's flown by my visual right now, but it said something like the challenges, and I was talking about the lack mentality, right? Like the sitting in the restaurant, you're looking at the menu, the prices are like, perhaps what some people might say crazy. And someone wrote, the challenge is in changing that mentality to a prosperity mentality. Here's what I want to say about that. You're right. It is a challenge, but I want you to see it as easy. Okay. I want you to see and believe and know that it's easy. If you think it's hard, you're right. It's like Henry Ford was known to say, if you think you can win or you think you can't, you're right. Right. And that's true too. Just in that statement alone, if you think you can, you think you can't. Even as the words are coming out of my mouth, where I'm talking about you, your potentiality, the possibilities, and your unlimited, opportunity that's available for every single one of you. Nobody is immune from this. Some of you may be dismissing this idea. Some of you may be thinking, oh, that's fine for you, Peggy, but it won't work for me. Oh, it's fine for you to go to that 5-star restaurant, but you don't have 2 nickels to rub together or whatever. You see, what happens, and there's no judgment here, by the way, this is very important and very valuable for you to have that awareness, because that's power, right? This is power for you. And I want to read something to you from a book that we're studying in Club Achieve. This is a book called The Secret of the Ages by Robert Collier. And for those of you that are having challenges in your life right now, or you've had challenges in your life, or you will have challenges in your life, I want you to understand this. This is what Robert Collier said. The mere fact, listen to this, okay? I'm going to explain it. But the mere fact that you have obstacles to overcome is in your favor. It's in your favor. I think back to January 1979. Did I have obstacles to overcome? I was a mess. I was an absolute mess as a human being. I didn't have a will to live. I was financially upside down. My relationships were challenged. I was having some health challenges. The mere fact that I had obstacles to overcome was in my favor. Why? Because I wanted to change it. I had the desire to change it. So if there's something going on in your life right now that you want to change, it's in your favor. It's in your favor. Let me read on. For when there is nothing to be done, when things run along too smoothly, this life force, he puts it in quotation marks in his book, life force. All of you have a life force within you. All of you have a power within you to overcome any obstacle that's going on in your life. Every one of you has that. So this life force seems to sleep when there aren't any challenges. Does this mean that you need to have challenges all the time? No, it doesn't mean that. But I think you should have goals, because the goals will bring out your life force as well. It is when you need it. And the need can come from the desire as well. That's why in part 1 of Be Free in 23, I wanted you to connect with your desire. What is your desire? See, it's when you need it. It's when you get that desire for something greater, to accomplish something you've never done before. When that desire is there, when you call upon it urgently, and you can call upon it urgently, you can put an urgency. It's a very valuable thing to do, is to have a sense of urgency. Have you ever heard the term, the universe loves speed? Right? This is what it's talking about here. When you call upon it urgently, that's the sense of urgency. When you seem to have used up every bit of vital force in you, that it is most on the job. Your life force is most on the job. Even when you're feeling like, so difficult, and you're so frustrated, and this has been going on for years, and what am I going to do? And like you feel like you're just want to give up. And I know I've been there, not just once, not twice, many times, many times. The obstacles are there. But what you can do is strengthen yourself. That's why you're here. By being here, you're strengthening yourself. You're building your own emotional muscles. You're seeking to have a greater understanding, a greater clarity. Because as Solomon said, with all thy getting, get understanding. Why would you get understanding? So that when you understand, it makes it easier for you to apply. Makes it easier for you to apply. That's what we're going to do, is we're going to make it easy for you to apply. Why? Because this work that we're talking about here, if you don't have the proper guidance, if you're not getting direction from somebody who's been there, done that, who proves by results that they know what they're talking about, you're going to continue to struggle. And that is part of what the challenge was with the information age. A lot of people out there talking about this stuff. How many are really living it? How many have results to prove that they not only know it, but they're living it? I want you to be living this. And that's tomorrow's session. We're going to get into the livingness. Today, we're going to talk about the belief part of it. What you really need to believe to create a phenomenal 2023 and beyond. Not just 2023, beyond this point. So as I said, we're going to give you some gifts. And one of the things that I've decided that we're going to gift to you is an autographed copy of Savvy Wisdom from Beyond. So Savvy Wisdom from Beyond is a book that I've just finished. I don't have a physical copy in my hands yet, other than the printout that's over there on my counter. So the book will be in production within the next couple of weeks, which means I will then order physical copies, and then I will sign the physical copies, and I will send them to you, to those that win, not everybody that's here, but those that win. So that is going to be one way that you can win, or that one of the prizes that you can win. Now, another thing that we're going to be giving away is the Power Life Script program. Now, the Power Life Script program, to me, teaches the most powerful tool that you can use to transform your life or manifest anything that you desire. Now, if you already have it, that's great. And you win it, give it to somebody that you love. That's what we'll do. So when Vladdy chooses our winners, and I'll tell you in a second how you can win, what we'll need from you, for those of you that are winning autographed copies of Savvy Wisdom from Beyond, is we'll need your address, okay, so that I can send you the book. And understand, I don't have a physical copy yet, but I will definitely have copies within the next couple of weeks. Now, how can you win? One is by participating. Like, we love when you participate. So we've got a chat box here. Thank you, Neil. And we are watching you. Vladdy's watching you. And we're noticing who's participating, who's enthusiastic, Paul's here too. Who's on board with what we're teaching, with the answers that you're providing. I love it. Okay, cool. All right, good. And that's where Vladdy will choose who's going to win the prizes as we're going along. And we're going to do it spontaneously. So we blocked off 2 hours to be together. And during those 2 hours, and we're going to do it in about 1 minute, Vladdy, just to give you the planting of the seed, we will do this from time to time when it feels, oh, thank you, Michelle, when it feels like the right time to do it. So I love it. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, I love that. So Ashraf says, I'm on this call because of my wife, Zarina, who's too shy to be on the call with me. And she tells me all good things about the Power Life Script. I love that. That's great. Okay. So Vladdy, if you would like to just scroll through the chat box, find somebody that you feel is our winner and send me a message on WhatsApp, if that works for you, or private message in here, whatever that happens to be, then that would be wonderful. Oh, I love that, Tootie. She says she's been waiting for Savvy Wisdom from Beyond. Thank you, Sean. All right. Oh, thank you. Okay. All right. The winner of Savvy Wisdom from Beyond autographed copy. And this means that we will need your mailing address, please. And for the mailing address, if you could please email it to, and I'll type this in the chat box. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. is support. Oops. Let me put it in the right place here. support@peggymccall.com. We need your mailing address, and the winner is Neil Williams. Now the name's gone off my screen. Did I get that right, Vladdy? Yes? Okay, perfect. Okay, Neil, you are the winner of the first autographed copy of Savvy Wisdom from Beyond. I love all the support and congratulations notes that are there. That's also a way that we watch to see, who's participating. All right, thank you. Okay, let's go back to our presentation for today. That's great. Congratulations, Neil. We'll have more gifts and more books to give away as we're diving into this today. Oops, let me go to the right place here. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask that you answer a couple of questions in the next little bit. So this slide says, by a show of comments in the chat box, please answer. And what I'm going to ask you to do is answer with the first thought that comes to you intuitively. Okay. All right. So here's the question. There's going to be two questions. There's one slide and then another slide. So I'm going to ask you this question. And I want you to just type in the chat box what your immediate intuitive response is to this question. Here it is. Would you like or love 2023 to be your best year ever? Type in the chat box. Okay, let's take a look at the answers here. All right. Beautiful. Absolutely, definitely already is. Okay, I like that. According to my plans, beautiful. Best so far, great stuff. Oh, that's sweet, Michelle. She says it'll be the best year for everyone. That's very, very sweet. You guys may be answering this question affirmatively, but if we took a poll and put 1,000 people from out there, like outside of the Zoom room, and asked them, would you like 2023 to be your best year ever? I bet that question would probably cause people to be confused. What do you mean, right? I don't need to explain that question to you. You understand that. Okay, good. All right, so we've got that answer. Let's look at the next question. This is an important one. Okay, and I can see that there's some people here that have already answered the next question, but you'll see it. Do you believe 2023 will be your best year ever? Do you believe it? I want an honest answer, okay? Honest answer. Maybe, okay, good. All right, now most people are saying yes, not sure, okay. Yeah, some have doubt. Okay, it's good. I would suspect that, if we did a polygraph right now and hooked you all up to it, a lie detector, some of you are lying. Now, I'm not calling you all liars, but that's my anchor. Beautiful, Sarah. I love that. Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. Okay. I will make it so. Beautiful. I like that, Lorette. I decided to believe it. Beautiful, Hara. That's excellent. 100%. Excellent. Absolutely believe, says Joan. Excellent. Okay. All right. Allie wrote, fake it until. Let's talk about that concept for a moment. Okay. Fake it till you make it. Now, many of you have heard that statement before, right? Fake it till you make it. And I think it can be good advice. But here's a little distinction with that as well. It's important to understand that when you're so-called faking it, that you really do believe it. Like you may be pretending or walking around assuming or expecting that you're going to succeed, but you really have to embrace it. It has to become like an embodiment. That's what tomorrow's all about, the living it. And it's not that you'll be living it and feeling it 100% of the time. I don't know anybody who does that, but it will be, in order for you to manifest what you want, it will be your dominant thought. Your dominant thoughts and feelings must be in alignment with what you desire. That's important. You may want to write that down. Your dominant thoughts and feelings must be in alignment with what you desire. So what does that mean? Now, I held up for you this, a cover of a book that's not even released yet. This is a printout, obviously. Now, it's a little messed up because it was taped to my keyboard. And with the travel that I've been doing the last week or so, it got a little messed up and the tape came off and it fell off my keyboard, but it's still with me. And not only is it with me on my keyboard, but I also have a copy of it in my phone case. I have another copy of it in my purse. I have a copy in my bathroom mirror. I have a copy in my car. It was taped to the steering wheel until they did the recent service and knocked it off, but it's still in my car and it's right there in front of me. And so if we think about fake it till you make it. Now, this statement that's written across the top of this book, #1 New York Times bestseller, is a goal. It's a goal that I've set for myself. It's not even a released book yet. So it's definitely not yet a New York Times bestselling author or bestselling book. But in my mind, this is already done. And so that's why I say your thoughts and your feelings have to be in alignment with whatever it is you desire. So if your, or when your thoughts and feelings are in alignment with what you desire, what are you thinking? And what are you feeling? Now, this assumes you've set some goals, right? So if your thoughts are in alignment with, wow, it just feels really good, feels really great knowing that that book is out there making such an impact in the world, because I believe in the message from this book wholeheartedly, absolutely wholeheartedly. This book was what some people might define as channeled. I mean, when I sat down to write it, I put my fingers on the keyboard. I didn't know where it was going. I had to get out of my own way. Now, what do I mean by getting out of your own way? You get out of your own way by dismissing thoughts that aren't going to serve you or changing feelings that aren't going to serve you. So when I took my computer and I sat down in a chair in my office, which is in the corner of my office, to write, and I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know what was going to come to or through me. I didn't know how the book was going to end. I just opened up, and as the thoughts started to pop into my consciousness that were non-supportive, I had to change them. I had to replace them. This is where awareness is so important to you, to really be aware and to notice, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? And is it in alignment with what you desire, right? So it's not enough to understand, yes, your thoughts and your feelings have to be in alignment with what you desire. You got to be living it. You got to be walking around thinking, oh, this is amazing. It's like the other day, I'm trying to remember where I was. Oh, it was yesterday, actually. I went to the movie theater and I went to see the new movie about Whitney Houston's life. It was amazing, by the way. If any of you are looking for a good movie to go see, I loved it. It was an incredible movie. And I went with one of my neighbors. And my neighbor, her name is Sylvie. She lives around the corner from me. And I picked her up. I said, I'll drive. And I went and picked her up. And we came out of the theater, and she glanced down at my license plate. My license plate says Savvy Wisdom. I got a personalized license plate on my vehicle. And she said, oh, I love that. Now, she's read the first 2 books. She's going to read the third one as well. And it prompted me, because part of the reason why the license plate was purchased is because of the vision that I have for the outcome that I have for the books in the book series. And for this book is seeing them as the success that they already are. This is what you want to be doing. You want to be thinking the thoughts and feeling the emotions that are in alignment with what you desire. Now, if you're not doing that now, I suspect some of you haven't been doing that right now, but if you're not doing that right now, a way of switching away from the negative thoughts or the thoughts that don't serve you is simply asking yourself a very powerful 4-word question. And that question is, what would I love? What would I love? So as I park my butt in that chair in the corner, fingers on keyboard, open, ready to write. And if a thought came into my mind, what are you going to write? Like, you don't even know where this is going to go. You have no ideas and whatever. That's not going to serve me. What would I love? I would love to produce. Thank you guys for writing that out. What I would love is to produce a phenomenal book, a life-altering, life-changing book that's going to empower people. It's going to help them understand more about death and dying and grief, because there's nobody on this planet that's immune to that. Nobody. Everybody's going through it or has gone through it at some point. If I ask the 240 people that are on this call right now, how many of you have lost someone that you cared about? I'm pretty sure every single person, would raise their hand, right? Every single person. So in February 2022, on the 3rd of February, my good friend and mentor, Bob Proctor, left this earthly plane. Now, he gave me great lessons on dealing with that, dealing with the loss of a loved one. And he was very clear to those that were close to him, do not cry for me. Do not cry for me. He had a very unique understanding about death and where we go beyond this earthly plane and grief. And so I decided I'm going to channel Bob. And that's what Savvy Wisdom from Beyond was. And so if I didn't believe I could do that, or didn't believe I could receive the messages, I wouldn't have received them. It would have been what they call writer's block. Matter of fact, on Friday night, on the 30th, I had a friend come over who's another author, and we watched a movie that Phil Goldfine, who's a good friend of mine, recommended. And the movie is called The Man Who Invented Christmas. And you know who that is about? It's about Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens. And Phil had told me about, we were chatting on Friday, and he told me about this movie, and he said to watch it, to watch this movie, The Man Who Invented Christmas. He said it was really well done, and it was quite extraordinary. And so I watched it. And in the movie, Charles Dickens is going through what is commonly known as writer's block. Now, I don't know if I've really ever experienced a writer's block that had me debilitated. May have had some temporary moments. I certainly didn't have it with Savvy Wisdom from Beyond. I had zero of it. And I believe it's because that's what I chose. And if it even reared its ugly head for a moment, I dismissed it. That's what you can do. You do not have to lasso in thoughts that aren't going to serve you and hold on to them like they're a life preserver, because they're not. I'm talking about negative thoughts. I'm talking about ideas that don't support you. For example, and this was something that I suggested that you do in the first session that we had together, is think about what you'd really love. Take the lid off, right? Like no limits. If you could have anything that you want, what would it be? What would you really, really love? And that idea and that concept is so foreign to most people, may not be to you. Like I believe I'm preaching to the converted here. But I do know this, you wouldn't be here if there wasn't a desire for better results in your life. And you know what? It's your birthright. Every single one of you can produce significantly better results. That's why we asked you in the beginning, how many of you would love to experience quantum leaps? How many of you would really love, not only for 2023, but beyond this point, beyond this year, in creating phenomenal results? And I'll tell you, there are people that do set what they call New Year's resolutions. And sometimes by January 1st, they've blown them, right? They've already, like my husband last night eating chocolate. He was telling me the day before he's giving up junk food, right? I'm not going to eat any junk food. And when I was out at the movie yesterday afternoon with my neighbor, I came back and I saw remnants of him breaking his New Year's resolutions, chocolate. Right? So why is it that people break these resolutions? Maybe they're not inspired enough. Maybe they don't really, really, really want it. Right? And I don't think that's really a big goal to quit eating chocolate. I think you need to get a goal that really inspires you. Something that just absolute paradigms. That's right. That's exactly what it is. It's the paradigms that stop people. I love it. Jonesy's going to have a quantum leap this year. I feel it. I can feel the energy there. Absolutely. And so, but it does take work. I mean, that's why I decided that we're in the age of implementation. Got to be implementing, not just once in a while, every day. But you know what's fun is that it becomes a way of life for you. You discipline yourself in a way that you become like an automatic goal achiever. It's like I have an accomplishment partner. I have a couple of them actually. And one of them is a lovely woman by the name of Ariel Ford. She lives in San Diego, California. And we send each other our accomplishment list every single week. And we've done this for years. And inevitably, she sends back messages saying, like, way to go, you're a constant manifestor, because I write what my accomplishments are. And then I do an update the next week with whether they were accomplished or not. Now, that's a habit. It's become a habit. And what I want to help you create in your life are habits for success, habits that serve you, habits that contribute to your outcomes. And it's simple enough to just start to pay attention to, is this going to serve me or is this going to not, right? Is this going to take me to where I want to go or is it not, right? With the disciplines that you're involved with every single day. Now that's more what we're talking about tomorrow. Now let's go back to our class and we're going to get ready soon to give away another prize. So this question here, do you believe that 2023 will be your best year ever? And, you know, a lot of you answered, maybe all of you answered, and many of you answered truthfully. I'm assuming everybody answered truthfully, actually. But this is what's necessary to the unfoldment of the goals that you've set for yourself. You got to believe. You got to believe that it's already done. Now, if you don't currently believe that that objective is already done in your life, that's okay. Because you know what? Most people don't believe it in the beginning, but you can build it because belief is simply a muscle, unused in many people's cases, not used. But when you implement certain strategies that will invite you to build that emotional muscle, you can become unwavering. Like nothing's going to knock you off track, or you may get knocked off track, but bam, you're going to put yourself right back on. You're going to put yourself right back on track and nothing's going to stop you. You become what I love to affectionately call a dog with a bone. You're persistent. You're persistent and nothing is going to get in your way. And if there is an obstacle there, you're going over it, under it, through it, whatever is necessary to get to where you want to go. That's how you build a belief system. That's how you build it. Like when I first became an author, I didn't believe I was a successful author. I didn't believe I had the ability to write. And I used to say these words and Bob would stop me. He wouldn't slap me, but I'm sure he probably wanted to. But I would say these words, I'm not a great writer. And he'd say, stop saying that. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. And I would say, well, I'm not. Stop saying that. I said, well, you don't need to be a good writer. Well, stop saying that, right? You can be a great writer. And I've had people tell me, you're a great writer. Like I have one friend, and of course, it's a friend. There we go. There's a belief right there, who told me, she said, I really love the way you write. I love the way you write. So you got to believe it. I have to believe that Savvy Wisdom from Beyond is worthy of being the #1 New York Times bestseller. I have to believe it and see it and know it. It's already done. That's why when I work with Catherine Young, who's my editor, who's a wonderful being, I love this girl. When her and I were working with that content of the book, we were both meticulous with making sure that, you know, all the threads, because it's like threads are hanging. You want to bring them all together. You want to weave them all together. You don't want to leave anything undone. You want to verify, you want to check, you want to make sure everything is perfect. And by doing that, you're creating the outcome. Because when you know that that outcome is there, you're going to operate in that way. You're going to operate as that person, being that person. And that's what you must do. So everyone has the potential to change their life forever, for the better. and you have to choose it. I believe you choose it. Now, I don't need to ask you if you've chosen this. I know you have, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here on January the 2nd. You could be somewhere else, but you're here. You've chosen to be here. It might be January 3rd for some of you, because I know we have people from down under that are also on this event. But when you choose it, it's not just a let's get on a webinar for a few hours. It becomes your life. This is my life. It's Vladdy's life. This is what we do. Why? Because our lives changed. Vladdy's life changed. Like Vladdy made a decision a few years ago to work in this field, to work in this industry, because her life changed. And she wanted to help other people change as well. And that's what she does. That's what she's doing now as a living. It's her career. That's what she does. She's out there positively transforming people's lives, helping them transform their lives. When you do that, when you're out there positively transforming other people's lives, only good can come back to you. And that's the wonderful expanded ripple effect that occurs when you're into these materials. It's not just the benefit it's going to bring to you. It's the positive ripple effect it has on others, like your family, right, Vladdy? Like your family, like your clients, like the people that you're friends, the people that you're blessed to know, strangers in the world that you've impacted, that you've made a difference, but you have to choose it. Now, in order to experience the permanent change, you must have goals that really do excite you. They have to be goals that you do not have to know how you're going to accomplish them. That's the greatest lesson I ever learned from Bob Proctor. You do not have to know how you're going to accomplish the goal. Set a goal that excites you and what Bob used to say, and scares you at the same time. Now, how many of you have a goal, or perhaps goals, that excite you and maybe even scare you at the same time? How many of you have that? Type in the chat box. Yes? Okay, good. All right, I have a few. Beautiful. Love it. I do. All right, good. Does anyone not? Oh, somebody said not yet. Okay, I saw a not yet message go by there. Okay. What I suggest for the not yet people that don't have one, wee, says Sharon, is to go back to the first class that we did, the part 1 of Be Free in 23, and set a goal that excites you and perhaps scares you as well. Yeah, Michelle says, I have no idea how to accomplish it, but yes, big, scary, and exciting. They used to call them what they call big, hairy, audacious goal, a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. That's what a BHAG is. Yeah, and you're right, Kata. It gets you out of the comfort zone. You know, goals, this is what Bob used to say to me. He said, the biggest benefit of you having your goals is not for what you get. Do you know what the biggest benefit is? Let me ask you, because I've said this before in other seminars. What's the biggest benefit of having these stretch goals? I like to call them stretch goals. Yes. All right. Who you become. That's right. Absolutely. Because that's why we're talking about permanent change. When you become that person, it strengthens you. And then you realize that, wow, you did that. Then you realize there's so much more that you can do. Bob Proctor used to have a slide. I could probably find it in my slides, but he used to have this slide. I'll explain it to you so you have a good understanding of what it is. And it had these lines on it. They're he called them lines of frequency, right? And he'd have an X at the bottom, and he'd say, this is where most people are. I mean, they're here, they're, creating results based on what their beliefs are. They're in harmony with what the results are. That's the reason why Bob used to say, I'd like to ask people what the most amount of money is that they ever earned. He says, because I want to know what they think they're worth, because usually income is in alignment with what people's self-worth is. And so if your self-worth is here at a lower level, and we'll use income as a great example, you're here, it's because you reside in harmony with that. You're thinking that way, you're feeling that way, you expect that kind of income, and that's what you want. But when you set a goal up here, like a higher goal, we can call it a skipping levels goal, you set a goal up here, then you must reside in that energy, meaning you've got to feel, act, and be as that person that's already accomplished that goal. right? And when you do, it's like you're getting out of your own way and you're now being that person that has accomplished that amazing goal. Or as Neville Goddard suggests, you got to deny the evidence of the senses. And Bob Proctor used to say, stop looking at your present results. You keep looking at your present results, you can't expect something different. If you keep looking at your present results, your debt load, your lack of money, or whatever it happens to be, and you stay emotionally involved in that, you'll just keep recreating it, recreating it, recreating it. But when you're here, but you desire to go here and you decide, I'm going to get on that frequency and I'm going to be in alignment with that goal, and you get there and you accomplish that goal and you realize that you've really pulled out this power that's already within you, this ability that you all have, and you get to that point, this is what he says, you realize that you could have just as easily gone here, right? Yeah, I see Maddie. Yes. And so this is why Napoleon Hill said, no more effort is required to aim high in life. Think about those words for a moment. I'll finish the statement. No more effort is required to aim high in life to accept abundance and prosperity. No more effort is required to aim high in life, to accept prosperity and abundance. Then is required to accept misery and poverty. Same effort. Same effort. We're all thinking every day. We're all feeling every day. But what are you thinking? What are you feeling? And are those feelings and thoughts in alignment with what you desire? It's no more effort. So for those of you that have a goal, an income goal, let's say, or an earnings goal, and it's a stretch, it's something you've never done before, what's going to happen is this. Your paradigms, which is your belief system, is going to put up, this was something straight out of Neville Goddard's teachings, a royal battle. They'll put up a royal battle and they'll fight you, and they will continue to fight you. That's the part that a lot of people don't understand. Some people assume that once they set a goal and they get locked on target, that they're not going to have any challenges. Well, those old paradigms are going to try and pull you back. They will absolutely try and pull you back. Why? Because your paradigms are your support system. They're the legs under your table. They are going to support you in whatever the results are that you believe. They're going to support you. So they have to be changed. You have to change them. That is going to be where it's going to lead to the exercise that we're getting to. Oh, Patrick found the frequency slide. Thank you, Patrick. I love it. Let me share my screen. I'm going to show you what Patrick sent us. Okay, I think we have a clear winner here, Vladdy. Okay, so this is the slide where Bob talked about the lines of energy, the lines of frequency, and that when you're here, like your current results, you're thinking, feeling that way, but the goal's up here. Well, you got to move up in energy with your thoughts and your feelings to be in harmony with what that goal is. So this is a perfect example. So Patrick, I would love to send you an autographed copy of Savvy Wisdom from Beyond. So Patrick, if you could please send us your mailing address, I would love to send that to you. Vladdy, I think that's a very clear winner there, right? Keep in mind, we're going to have another winner coming up in the next little while. So congratulations to Patrick. Yes, I love that. That is so good. All right, now let's go back to my presentation because we're talking about permanent change for you. So goals that excite you, obviously. Now, for those of you, and we're talking about goals that, BHAGs, right? Big, hairy, audacious goals. Any of you that don't have a BHAG goal, a big, hairy, audacious goal, get one. Like create one. Just really think expansively. You don't have to know how, just what would you really love? And that's how you determine that. Okay, then you've got to commit. You got to commit. You got to commit every day, every single day to studying success. It's really important. Why? Because what you're doing is you're gathering valuable knowledge. You're gathering valuable knowledge that changes your understanding and your awareness. And with that, you change how you feel. It changes the way you look at things, changes the way you feel and think as well. So you got to commit to the study. because it's going to be a constant evolution of expansion of your idea. I remember one time I was in Los Angeles and I was doing an event. Actually, it was Bob's event. I was there speaking, and someone asked Bob Proctor the question, how do I accelerate my results? Now, let me ask you guys, how many of you would love to accelerate your results? Yes. Okay, good. Now, I would think there's going to be 241 answers of yes, absolutely. Okay. Now, here's the answer that Bob gave, and I'm going to expand on that answer for anyone that wants to accelerate your results. I want to tell you how to do that. And his answer was that you've got to gather more knowledge. This is how you accelerate your results. You gather more knowledge. How do you gather more knowledge? You're really expanding your awareness. You do that through study, absolutely through study. You know, I was chatting with Brian Proctor over the holidays, and he was telling me that one of the recent visits to his father's home, he went into his dad's studio, and he said the book that my dad was studying before he passed away was sitting on his desk. And it was a Thomas Troward book, because Bob loved studying Thomas Troward. And he said that Bob was studying right until the final week of his life. He was studying. He never stopped studying, never stopped studying. And this is what he was answering to this gentleman that was asking the question in the audience, like, how do you accelerate your results? And he said, through study, through the understanding. Now, the expanded version of that answer is so that you can apply, right? Because as you know, and this was straight out of Bob's teachings as well, no amount of reading, going to seminars, watching the videos is going to do anything unless and until you understand and apply. So you absolutely must apply it. But here's the real secret to success. And it was written in a fabulous book that I have here on my desk by an incredible author who really knew and understood this material. And the book is called Feeling is the Secret. It's by a gentleman by the name of Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard. And feeling is the secret is the secret. It's the secret to manifesting anything, which means that you have to feel as if that desire that you have in your life, whatever it may be, is already here now, right? So a great question to ask yourself every single day. Now that that goal is in my life, or now that I've manifested, whatever it is, how do I feel? How do I feel? This is where you want to be giving your attention. You want to give it your attention because it's your intention. And when you give it your attention, it will grow. It will expand, and everything requisite for the fulfillment of that desire will be drawn to you. Everything requisite. This morning I walked out of my office to get some more water, and I've had a day of back-to-back meetings. And it started at 8 o'clock this morning was my first meeting, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Here we are. It's 1 o'clock. And I had left my office just for a moment to get some water. And my husband had said to me, he's out in the living room, and he said, honey, do you have 2 minutes and 14 seconds? Which is kind of a funny question to ask, right? 2 minutes and 14 seconds. And what he meant was, do you have 2 minutes and 14 seconds to spare for me? And I said, of course. And so I said, just let me go to the ladies' room and I'll be right back, and you can tell me or show me whatever it is that you want. And my husband, Denny, who's an incredible man who I'm very blessed and give thanks for him every single day, he's a sportsaholic and he loves sports and he's watching them all, right? If there's hockey, golf, tennis, car racing, football, baseball, he's watching them all. And so I thought that he probably wanted to share with me some kind of a segment from one of the games that he watched. And because he often does that, like he showed me something last evening with a hockey player. He had been watching a hockey game, and it was a game that was played on December 19th, which was my birthday. Anyways, he said this game was played on December 19th, and the hockey player had been, pushed against the boards, which happens as in hockey, and he fell down. And the guy that was right beside him on the other team, on the opposing team, got a penalty. And so the hockey player who fell down went to the referee and said, he didn't trip me. Like, you got to cancel that penalty. And Denny said he had never seen that before in hockey. He had never seen that before in hockey, that a player who was, he wasn't given the penalty. He had been tripped. At least that's what the referee thought. But he said, he didn't trip me. And he asked. That's a very good sportsman-like thing to do. Like, that's a real quality thing to do. So Denny would show me things like that. So today, I'm assuming he's going to show me something that has to do with sports. But no, he wanted to show me a little video about an author who had sold, I think, 11.8 million copies of her book in 2023 by using a very specific strategy. That's what he wanted to show me. Do you think I'm interested in that? Heck yeah, of course I'm interested in that. And it blew my mind because I wasn't aware of this. I wasn't aware of this strategy. So I grabbed his laptop, I copy pasted the link of the video that he showed me, and I sent it immediately to three of my team members. Vladdy, I didn't send it to you, but I'll send it to you later. I sent it to Roddy, Trace, Kayla. Then I sent it to Jen as well. Jen's on the call right now, who does all of our social media. I sent it to Jen as well, because we're getting ready to release Savvy Wisdom from Beyond. Jen was already familiar with this strategy. But here's the point of that story. Everything requisite for the fulfillment of your desire will be attracted to you. You don't have to know how. I don't have to know how this will be on the New York Times. I just have to believe it's there now. When is it going to happen is whenever it's going to happen, right? Whenever that's going to happen is whenever it's going to happen. And so this is the process of manifesting. You got to know and believe that it's already done. And even if you wake up and you're thinking, I don't know what to do, dismiss that idea. Because if you really were in alignment with your outcome, would you be saying those words? I don't know what to do. Of course you wouldn't. There's no freaking way you'd be saying that. Why? Because it's done. It's already done. Creation is finished. There's a chapter in The Power of Awareness, which is a book we will study again in Club Achieve. We've already studied it once. This is another book by Neville Goddard, one of my favorites. We've studied this in Club Achieve. We're going to bring it back. We're going to study it again. It is so worth studying again. There's a chapter in here called Creation is Finished. Creation is finished. So just think about this for a moment, okay? Here's another book by Neville Goddard, Out of This World. This is Vladdy and I love this book, Out of This World. Out of This World talks about something called the fourth dimension. What's the fourth dimension? That's the dimension of possibility. That's where we go when we start thinking about what would I really love? What would I really love? We go to that place in the fourth dimension when we lasso it in, bring in that goal by writing it down. That's what I did, right? You write it down, commit to that. This is done. This is finished. That outcome is already done. It's out there in the field of possibilities, just like your goals. Any one of you, how bizarre it may be, it's already done. Now, I'm certain you've heard this. If you can think it, you can have it, right? If you can think it, you can have it. It's true. If you can think it, you can. It is done. Yes, Mena. All right. Mena is a serious student. I love Mena. Love working with her. She was a private mentoring client of mine. And so you've got to be in that place, that new mind, if you will. Now, it can be challenging, especially in the beginning, but it's a lot of fun. And as you know, or hope you know, extremely rewarding, because it's just like, a genie where you can literally ask for anything and your genie says, yes, absolutely. Yes, that and so much more. Whatever it is that you desire, you can have anything. It's possible. It's possible for you. Now, it's possible. It becomes probable when you live as if, when you act as if that result is in your life now. Helen just wrote that. It is already done. That's when it becomes probable. It's already done. Now, does that mean with the absolute certainty that it will show up in your life? Absolutely, it does. Why? Because you're working with the laws of the universe. You're working with the power that is so phenomenal that you can manifest anything that you desire. It's you and the universe. You're partners. You're a team. You're a team. You're going to work together in harmony. That's why it's important to understand. So let's go back to our slides here. Patty Lee wrote, the only response from the universe is yes, your wish is my command. You're absolutely right, Patty Lee. The wish is your command. So you commit to the study every day, which constantly expands your understanding, your awareness, so that you can apply. And then, of course, B, you must be disciplined and follow through. That means you're going to walk around, you're going to talk like, you're going to act like, you're going to feel like, you're going to think like the person that you desire to be. That person is the person that has already accomplished those goals that you set for yourself. This is how you create permanent change. Now, does this mean you will not have obstacles? No, everybody does. Not last year. It was the year before. I went through a health challenge that I went through. Why did it happen? Someone asked me that recently. Why you, Peggy McColl, of all people, went through a health challenge? Just is what it is. There had been some stress in my life, which I created, all self-created. I'm aware, understand it. And then boop, it reveals itself in a very unique way. Stress is destructive, extremely destructive. It doesn't serve you in any way whatsoever. And so everyone has adversity. It's like what I read to you earlier from Secret of the Ages. The mere fact that you have obstacles to overcome is in your favor. I knew that when I got a diagnosis. I knew that. Oh, this is in my favor. What are the blessings in this experience? Many blessings. I wrote a book about it. Savvy Wisdom 2, the sequel, was about Sophie going through some health challenges, right? It was in my favor. For when there is nothing to be done, when things run along too smoothly, this life force seems to sleep. But when you need it, you call upon it urgently. That's what I did. I called upon it urgently. Now, I breezed through a very challenging time in my life because of the knowledge that I had acquired, because of the disciplines that I had been involved in. And so you condition yourself to be very strong mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. That's what you want to do, so that when you go through the challenging times, you're going to go through it very differently. You're going to go through it utilizing your life force, but learning to look for the blessings. What are those blessings? Because there's a blessing in everything. In every single thing that goes on in your life, there is a blessing. So let's consider some very important understandings before we go to our open Q&A part, or before we go to our suggestion for your homework as well. So here's some very important understandings that I specifically chose for today for our lesson. Number one, the power is within you to control, change, or switch your destiny. This is what I was talking about earlier with Neville Goddard's work, Out of This World. Out of This World really invites you to think about infinite possibilities, that whatever it is that you desire, you want to recognize that that power within you to manifest anything that you want is already there. It's already there. And what you do is you just change your understanding to it. You change the knowledge that you're gathering. So the power is within you, but you have to understand what that power is and how to use it. All right, that's where we come in. We'll help you understand the power that's within you and how to use it. Here's the next one. It is one thing to know. It's great to know this material, but it's a completely other thing to apply it. It's the application that's going to make the difference. It's one thing to know, it's another thing to apply. There are a lot of people who are out there in the world and they're great students, and may even be patting themselves on the back for what they know and the number of books that they've read and the number of programs that they've gone through, but they're not applying it. That's why we're in the age of implementation. It's the implementation that's going to make the difference. And we can show you how to implement this into your life so it becomes a part of your habits. Misuse of the mental and spiritual laws are the root of many unhappy conditions. Misuse of the mental laws. You see, we're working with the laws now. Every one of you is working with the laws now. It's just, are you using them in your favor or not? Let's think about a very simple law, the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect decrees that there is a reaction for every action, right? There's going to be an effect from what you're doing. There's an effect from you being here today. There is. And so when people don't understand that, they're misusing it, they're abusing themselves, then they're going to get results that are undesirable. And that's not what you want. So you don't even have to understand what the laws are. You just have to understand how to work in harmony with them. And I believe it's pretty simple, because what you put out, you get back, right? What you put out, you get back. Your thoughts are seeds. Your thoughts are powerful things that are being planted, and they will grow. They will grow. Absolutely. That's why people misuse this information. They don't even realize that they are being destructive. I didn't. I was completely ignorant. Ignorant means not knowing. That's what ignorance means. Ignorance means not knowing. And ignorance is not bliss. It is absolutely not bliss when it comes to this material. It isn't. All right. I think it's time that we give away a Power Life Script program, Vladdy. Do you have somebody in mind already? Yes, you do. I thought you did. I felt that. I felt that energy. Martina's right. Understanding is important. Ignorance can be cured. Yeah. Okay. So how can we cure ignorance? How can we cure ignorance? I'm going to ask you that question. I know the answer. There we go. Lorette, first one to answer, had the right answer. Understanding or knowledge. What did she write? Hang on. I got to get back up there now. Knowledge. Yes. Knowledge, which leads to understanding. Absolutely. Study. All in the same vein for sure. All right. And our winner is Ashraf Jamie. Is that what it is? Ashraf Jamie. Thank you, Vladdy. Okay. So I'm not sure if Jamie is the first name, last name, but you are our winner of the Power Life Script program. So what we would like you to do, similar to Patrick and Neil, is send in an email to support@peggymccall.com. You can let Roddy know that you won the Power Life Script, and he is going to hook you up. By the way, let me just check something here right now. So we are going to gift that. There'll be more prizes, so stick with us. You definitely want to stay here for the last part of this as well, because I'm going to have you do an exercise and recommend that you do an exercise between now and Roddy's on the call. So Roddy's aware that you just won that, but you can email him and he'll make sure that he gives you full access. Thank you, Vladdy. I appreciate you choosing our winner. We're going to have a couple more prizes that we're going to be giving away. Okay, so I want to make sure that we have time. I just got a couple more slides, and then we're, thank you, Tootie. And then we're going to go to Q&A. All right, so I don't believe there's any need to struggle. And, you know, some people have this belief, and maybe you've said the words yourself. I know I had before as well when I was in a place called ignorance. And that is, sometimes these things happen and people think they're lessons. Like God sent us this struggle so that we have a lesson to learn. I think that's bogus. I think it's bull. There aren't lessons that you need to learn. There aren't. You are destined, as Dennis Waitley used to say, for greatness. We all are. We're all born with the same ability. But what's happened with our world is that the conditioning and the way of thinking is not in alignment with what these materials teach. And therefore, as a child, we learn from observation. We learn from watching the people that raise us or watching what else is going on in the world. But I want you to know there is no need for you to struggle. Now, you may have struggled in the past. I did. Many people have struggled. And as you heard earlier, that challenges, obstacles invite you to go within and go and pull out your own life force so they can strengthen you. These experiences can strengthen you. Every experience that I've gone through in my life that have been a challenge, or any experience that I've gone through in my life, has served me. They've been a blessing, every single one. I remember when I went through divorce from my first husband and having a realization that I had a belief that was a paradigm that was within me, that this reality came to me by going through the divorce, that I didn't believe at that time I was worthy of love. I want you to think about that for a moment. I want you to think about worthiness, thinking about you and what it is that you want to create, the results that you're looking to create in your life. Do you believe you are worthy of it? Now, I'm not asking you to answer the question. I want you to think about that, okay? I want you to honestly think about that. Because if you don't believe you're worthy of the success that you desire, or you're worthy of earning the kind of money that you would love to earn, or you're worthy of creating whatever result that you want to create in your life, you got to know and build and believe that you are worthy. You are worthy. It's not a challenge with everyone, but it's a challenge with many people, is that belief. And when I went through my divorce, I had that realization. Wow, I didn't feel I was worthy of love. I didn't even realize it was there until I had gone through that experience. So what did I do? I built it. I built the belief that I'm worthy of love. I am worthy of love. You're worthy of love. Every one of you is worthy of love. There isn't anybody in this room who's not worthy of love and worthy of every other good thing that you desire. Whatever that is, whatever the results are, you got to know that you're worthy of it. So I made a decision, a conscious decision, that I would build that belief. And I did. It took a while, took some time, took some energy, and I'm glad I did. And as a result, I attracted an incredible man into my life over 18 years ago, who I'm now very happily married with. I might have attracted him if I hadn't worked on that belief. I may have attracted him, but probably wouldn't have kept it, probably wouldn't have stayed in the relationship, because if the belief isn't there, the beliefs that are going to support the outcome that you desire, then you'll likely sabotage it. That's why people end up sabotaging their results. And I heard this yesterday, when I took my neighbor to the movie theater, and she was talking about something in her life that had gone on. It was an obstacle that she overcame. And she said these words. She said that she was waiting for the other shoe to drop. What does that mean? She's expecting negative, right? I'm not saying expect obstacles or expect challenges. Certainly that's not what I'm recommending. But if you are giving your energy to that and you're expecting something bad to happen, you're growing. You're giving energy to something that's growing, because all thoughts are seeds that are planted. Now, if a seed has been planted, and it's a seed of fear, it's a seed of failure, it's a seed of undesirable results, you can absolutely uproot it or replace it with something that will serve you, because having the awareness is incredibly valuable for you. Like when I went through the health challenge that I went through last year, it was an absolute blessing in my life. And it gave me an opportunity to say, hey, I wonder why this occurred in my life. Not from a place of judgment. Not from a place of judgment. You do not want to be judging yourself. You certainly do not want to be criticizing yourself or condemning yourself or whatever. Just let it go. Find the blessings. Look for the good. What is the valuable experience in all of this, or what's great in my life? There's always something good. There's always something in every single situation. The seed of every adversity has something good. There's something good that's there. You have to look for it. You have to find it. Now, why would you do that? You do that because it puts you into a better feel-good state, right? You do that because it causes you to feel stronger, not weaker. But if you go to a place of why this happened to me, which a lot of people say, you may have uttered those words yourself. I had years ago. Why did this happen to me? It didn't happen to you. It happened for you. What's the blessing in this? Where's the gift in this? What can you learn from this? What will you not do in the future? Or what will you do that's going to support you in getting you to where you want to go? And you stop the insanity. You stop the struggle because it's not necessary to struggle anymore. It's not. Ernest Holmes said this: we are living in an intelligent universe which responds to our mental states. To the extent, it should be extent, that we learn to control these mental states, we shall automatically control our environment. What does that mean to you? What are mental states? Let's open this up for some chat. Let's see what do you believe? We are living in an intelligent universe which responds to our mental states. You see, you're sending out messages, signals, planting seeds with your thoughts. You're drawing back to you with your feelings. That's mental states. What are these mental states which responds to our mental states? To the extent that we learn to control these mental states, we shall automatically control our environment. So what are the mental states? Let's go and take a look at what the comments are. Yeah, absolutely. It's the feelings that you have. It's the thoughts that you have that are in harmony. So worthiness, is that a mental state? Is that a mental state? Maddie, what do you think? Yes. Okay. Thank you. I can only see like 4 little boxes there. You're one of them. So I'm watching you. Congruence. Yes, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah. The thoughts and feelings behind those states. Definitely. Marielle, you're right. The feelings. Yes. How do we think and feel? And it's a perception. You're right as well. Bavesh. Yes. Okay, good. Our 6 higher faculties and the feelings with it, says Martina. Thoughts, feelings, perception. Peter Hawkins speaks about the different frequencies of emotions. Definitely. Definitely. I was looking at a slide actually about that, speaking of frequencies of emotions. And our frequency of love, as an example, is a very harmonious and a smooth kind of frequency. But a feeling of stress is like jagged, and it's just like all over the place. It's like negative energy, bad energy, bringing back to you, right? That's a mental state. Stress is a mental state. Feeling good all the time is a mental state. Mindset is everything, Patricia. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. Okay, so let's go back to our slides because we're about to finish up our slides and then we're going to give away. Now, actually, what would you love for us to give away? Type in the chat box, an autographed copy of Savvy Wisdom from Beyond or Power Life Script. Type in your answer there. What would you love to give away? Type in your answer there, and that's going to make our decision. So Vladdy and Roddy, you can decide what we're going to give away based on the answers to that question that show up in the chat box. Okay, so I want to verify. Let's keep going here so we can, we can finish out our lesson for today. Let's verify. Do you have goals or a goal that really excite you? And I asked that already. And so you said yes. We saw yes, yes, yes. Some of you were not yet, but I think there was very few that said not yet. But are you committed to the study? Are you committed to the study? And are you willing to discipline yourself every day? Now, those are questions I'd like to know. Are you committed to the study? Are you willing to discipline yourself every single day? Because as we know, that's what's necessary. That's absolutely what's necessary. Yes. Okay, good. Club Achieve, definitely. Club Achieve is our daily study program. I think it's, if not the best program that I've ever launched, one of them. That skipping level, well, they're all great, of course. All right, cool. Okay, now let's go back to our slides. I like Colleen's answer. That was very cute. Okay, I think we're going to do what Colleen suggested there, but I'll wait to see what Roddy and Vladdy say. Okay, so here's an assignment for you that I would like you to do between now and tomorrow, okay? And the assignment is based on your goals. what you would love to do, be, accomplish, experience in your life, I would like you to describe that person. Describe their identity. What are they like? Write it down in the present tense as if you're describing someone else. Write it down as if you're describing someone else, but that person has already accomplished that which you desire. That's the assignment that I'm giving to you to do. Based on what you would love to have, these are your goals. What goals you have, what you would love to create in your life. Describe the person that has done that. Are they persistent? Are they focused? Are they positive? Are they disciplined? Are they committed? What are they like? What are they like? Are they confident? Do they speak and stand and think only as the person that has accomplished that goals? Describe them. Describe what that person, not now. This is not something I'm asking you to do right now. I'm suggesting you do it as an assignment. We're going to pick it up tomorrow from that point. Now, let me come back to you. Okay, so Vladdy and Roddy, what would you suggest? Let me bring both of them into the spotlight. I got to find Roddy, so I'm going to go there. I brought Vladdy in. Where are you, Roddy? Can you wave? Let me see if I can find him. Shake a lot of people. There he is. I see him. Okay. Add to the spotlight. You could probably have added yourself to the spotlight, right? Hey, all right. So what did you guys decide we're giving away next?
It was a close tie, but I think we thought the book was just winning it.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, it was suggested, I think it was Colleen who suggested we give away all three to this next winner. All three copies, Savvy 1, Savvy 2, Savvy 3, all autographed and sent to that person. So I'm on board to do that.
Is the season of giving?
It's the season. It looks like Maddie wants it pretty bad.
I can see her too.
Okay, we got to give it to Maddie no matter what. I don't know who you guys have chosen, but we're definitely going to give it to Maddie. Okay, but who else? Let's give it to someone else. We're feeling generous today. Yes. Okay, so Maddie, you have won all three autographed copies of the book, and you can come and pick them up if you want. We'll have coffee together. She's not exactly down the street, but she is a car ride away. Okay, so Vladdy and Roddy, who have you chosen to win the three books?
I watched Martina Wagner. She commented loads throughout the whole session, hour and a half.
All right, Martina.
As did many, but I mean, she really stood out.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, Martina, congratulations. I love that. Oh, Neil says coffee with Peggy would be wonderful. There's another idea for
afternoon tea.
Afternoon tea. Yeah, we might have to do that through Skype for a number of people that are here, but absolutely. Okay, so Roddy and Vladdy, since you're both here, and as you know, as Roddy and Vladdy know, because they've worked with me now for a few years, is that I never did the same presentation twice, never. And it's like Roddy and I were chatting yesterday, and he said, if you could send over the slides, you know, your slides. And I said, well, I have slides done, but I don't know what's going to come to or through me. So I just, you know, let it roll. But I did prepare, obviously, for today. But was there something today? Now, I know, Roddy, you were out for the beginning part of this, but joined us afterwards. I'm going to start with Vladdy. What was it today that really stood out for you? Because you're a serious student and you've been involved in these materials for a while, but what really stood out for you today that impacted you in a positive way?
See, absolutely implementation age. I love the way you actually said it's implementation age. And that's what so many people we speak to, they say, what is the key? It really is the key. Like all the knowledge and understanding in the world will not get you the result you desire unless you apply. Right. And simple thing is it can be your hair. You can go to hairdresser if you're just looking at them and telling them what to do, but not allowing them to actually do it or changing it, you're not gonna get anything done, right? So you're gonna leave. But if you just follow people with results, I love that.
That because is so good.
The truth is, following Peggy, like really follow people who do have results. It does make a huge difference. And you will avoid that you actually are disappointed. That sometimes it's disappointment because we don't apply it correctly.
Right.
But if you support it on the way how you apply it correctly, and that's the key actually. You may be doing the things and not doing it right. I've done things which I didn't do right, and I said to Peggy, well, I've been doing it, but are you doing it right way? Certain way.
Yeah. That's brilliant. I love that. I like some of the answers that are coming out on the right-hand side of the screen here as well. Like, I like what Jamie wrote here. Jamie's been a great student of ours, and we've been blessed to be serving Jamie for a few years now. And she wrote this. She said, we're always using the laws of the universe, and our thoughts and feelings are powerful seeds and will grow. This was one of the things that impacted me in a new way today. And that's why, thank you, Jamie, for sharing that, by the way. But that's one of the reasons why study is so important, because Jamie, this is not Jamie's first rodeo, right? Jamie's been on, well, pretty much every seminar that we've ever done, I think. And so she's a serious student. She studies these materials. But what happens is, it's not that you hear something that you haven't heard before or read something you haven't read before. You experience something within you that you hadn't experienced before because you've elevated your understanding, your awareness. That's what occurs. That's why study is so important to this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, Roddy, what about you?
100% on the implementation part, Peg. I think that is so important. And, you know, it was like what you said just as I came on there. It's very easy to memorize the materials, and, you know, we can all spout it out. We can all come up with paragraphs. We've read the authors. We've been in the programs, but are we effectively applying it? Like, that is really where the rubber meets the road, as they say. Like, you've really got to be so focused upon taking the action, and that will feel scary, especially if your goal's big enough, and it should be big enough. This is a great time, the start of 2023, getting really focused on what is it you want, not just what you think you can achieve, but really stretching yourself, really going for that top goal, you know, not just doubling your income, go for 10x it, like really going to that place and really feeling it. Like, the feeling part and the implementation part is so important. But until you have that picture in your mind, like why we always recommend the Power Life script, because it effectively empowers you. It really cements it in that subconscious mind. So I would say get so clear on what it is you want. This could be an incredible year for you. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and stay locked in it. I've just opened up a page here on the power of awareness, and I've got, probably like yourself, Peggy, I know the last time we did this book, I think we just about highlighted everything, and I know we're going to put this back on Club Achieve once again. But, you know, to incarnate a new and greater value of yourself, you must assume that you are already what you want to be, and then live by faith in this assumption. Like, are you living in faith? Like, do you really genuinely 100% believe that this year will be the best year of your life? And then it says, your ability to assume the feeling of a greater life, to assume a new concept of yourself. You possess what the rest of nature does not possess: imagination, the instrument by which you create your world. Your imagination is the instrument, the means whereby your redemption from slavery, sickness, poverty is affected. If you refuse to assume the responsibility of the incarnation of a new and higher concept of yourself, then you reject the means, the only means whereby your redemption, that is the attainment of your ideal or your goals, can be affected. Imagination is the only redemptive power in the universe. So a couple of things there. 100% get clear, really clear on the desire. Get so focused on applying it, and then use your imagination and block out all the paradigms or what everybody else is saying to you, that negativity, which is the way most people think.
So true. I love it. Now, where are you reading from there? Someone is asking in the chat box.
Oh, yes. So I'm on page 18, and I went a little bit onto 19 as well.
All right, perfect. And I was referencing in the same book chapter it's this version of the book that includes Awaken Imagination, and it's chapter 7 called Creation is Finished as well. But I want to speak to something that Roddy has said. Thank you so much for sharing that, Roddy. Roddy said this, and I almost wanted to pause. You know, when you're watching a video, you can hit pause. And for those of you that watch the replay of this, I saw someone wrote, this is an absolutely phenomenal webinar or some comment like that. Thank you, by the way. I really appreciate that. But here's what Roddy said. He said, set a goal that you would love, not a goal that you think you can accomplish. He said that. That is really significant to what Roddy said right there. Not a goal that you think you can do. Like, this is where you get into this new realm, right? This real stretch, because the benefit is not that you're going to get that goal. It's who you become in the process, right? Who do you become in the process? So not the goal that you think you can get. So this is why, sometimes when people get into these seminars or whatever, they change their goals because they realize they're not thinking big enough, right? They're not thinking like expansively. Something else Roddy said, and this is really, really important too. Roddy said, you want to create the picture in your mind, right? What is that picture? What is that picture? What is the vision of you? So what would I see were Savvy Wisdom, the #1 New York Times bestseller? What would I see? I'd see the New York Times bestseller list, right? I'd see it when I go on Amazon. I could get a copy of the newspaper and see it there. I could see it on the bottom of my business card. If I had a business card, I don't use business cards anymore. See it on the website. I could see it in the bookstores. Like if I walk in a bookstore, I could see it there. See, this is what you want to do. You want to create the link in your mind to what you're actually seeing. And what you want to do is you want to get emotionally involved in that picture. And what Bob used to say is hold it with your will. So you get the picture in your mind and then you get emotionally involved in that picture. You see it. You see the unfoldment. It's already done. And then things happen that are surprising. It's like, I think it was Earl Nightingale who said that you will attract everything requisite. It might have been Napoleon Hill, everything requisite for the fulfillment of your desire. That's what happens when you are in alignment with whatever it is that you desire. Okay, who has a question for us? We've got about, 18 minutes left here, and we would love to address any questions. And we're going to do some more prize giveaways. There we go. Okay, Martina, how can I better discipline myself daily? Okay, now I'm going to invite my wonderful friends here, Vladdy and Roddy, to share in their answers as well. And if you don't mind, I'll start by talking about, I really believe that my results went to a whole new level when I did discipline myself. So the fact that Martina is asking the question says a lot about who she is and the importance of understanding how important discipline is. But for me, what I did was I created a daily discipline checklist, and I made a commitment, and I believe I have a copy of it here in my drawer somewhere. And I made a list of the things that I would discipline for myself. And they would be things like listen to my Power Life script every day, invest time with my vision board, like staring at my vision, but getting emotionally involved in it, doing my affirmations, writing my gratitude journal, like whatever the things were that would create the alignment, that's what I would do. But I created a list, so I check it off, right? Like, did you do that today? Did you do that today? Did you do that today? And on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So this is something. Now, when I originally created my daily discipline checklist, I actually did it in a Word document. Now, you don't even need to do it in a Word document. Just grab a plain sheet of paper. You could even do it in your journal if you want, but just do it. Like, it's important that you do it. That's how you discipline yourself. Now, what about you, Vladdy? Let's have ladies first. What did you do?
Studying is #1. Just dive into study and
daily
really
study. Is that
daily study? Yeah. So studying with all the lessons, I would say I started applying with where Peggy started guiding me, but studying as myself because I just was hungry for the information. And the more you read, then when somebody actually helps you tidy up the information, you already done a lot. So
yes.
So yeah, reading and studying Peggy's materials and Bob's as well at that time, but Peggy's mainly, and gratitude is my #1 thing. And it always is my #1 thing. And living and breathing gratitude, but like Peggy explained last probably one of the last webinars, it's unconditional gratitude. So it's not the gratitude which is conditioned to when somebody does something to you, or when something happens, or when I have more money, I can do this. And when you have to be unconditional. You have to feel the state as if you already have it right now. And my favorite thing is still writing 6 tasks that help me to get to my goals. Now, this is not shopping, your daily stuff. This is something that really brings you closer to your goal. So every evening I write down 6 things I'm going to accomplish next day. Fantastic. I do my best to do them all. If it doesn't happen, which, I mean, I usually didn't go to bed until 2 o'clock in the morning until it did happen, but sometimes it doesn't, so let it go. Just move it to the next day and carry on. And visualizing in Power Life Script. Like Power Life Script is I love that. Well, we all do, because we with Peggy, and really when she actually helps us to create the right one. So many people create, actually, we shouldn't say that, because many people send the Power Life Script to Peggy and she was impressed. So, but there are some phrases which you can actually use and they're not serving you. And I would say meditation, but I mean meditation in a sense of quieting your mind down and really connecting to your inner power. Like really think intuition, like follow your guidance and don't compete, just create, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are mine.
So good. I love that. That was wonderful, Vladdy. Thank you. Christine Lee is asking how to download the checklist. And Roddy, there's probably others that would want that too. Can we put it on the replay page?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Christine Lee, they're definitely on the skipping levels dashboard. I'm certain of that one. Yeah, totally. Yeah, in regards to the question, great one. For me, it was really focus, which was a big thing for me. I wasn't particularly focused. So really staying focused on what I was doing, but more importantly, not just kind of doing the daily disciplines for the sake of doing the daily disciplines. Like it's easy to kind of get into that habit of just kind of ticking it off for the sake of ticking it off. So getting focused on that feeling part. So it might only have been one thing that I was grateful for, but staying really focused on feeling the gratitude and the abundance and so forth. I had a desire, which is what I said a little moment ago, which really helps. Like I think that, do say that's one of the triggering parts of attaining your goal. I had that real desire and I wanted to implement the materials based on the desire, and that the effectiveness thereafter of the disciplines that I was doing was much greater because I had that desire and I really wanted to implement it. So that was certainly the main thing. But I agree with you, Peggy, and I remember in the early days when I first started out with you, you're always banging on about the daily discipline checklist and just staying, like I say, focused on completing it, because it's the most simplest thing to do. These daily disciplines, they're not complicated, they're really simple. Like gratitude, you can be doing it all day first and foremost, but 5-10 minutes is all you need. Yet the paradigm for people will pull them back, they'll get out their bed, they'll move on to the next thing because we're just so habitual in everything that we're doing. So it does take discipline and it does take focus, and I think a real strong desire.
Yeah, absolutely right. I love that, Roddy. Thank you. It was very valuable. A couple of things that have come up in the chat box here while you guys were chatting or sharing with us is Tootie had asked if we could get the PDF for the document or for the checklist in an email, asking for technologically challenged friend. Okay, so I don't know, Roddy, can that be done?
Yeah, we can certainly put it on the email, and we can certainly put it on the replay page as well, which will just be the same link that would go on the email anyway. But if not, feel free to email me if you've got any technical challenges today. I'm more than happy to help. Okay, good stuff. And Patrick wrote this. He said, the takeaway I just had from this is making the decision for daily disciplines, putting them on a checklist and doing it every day. It's yours. You created it and it keeps in front of you every day because it's otherwise easy to wane. And absolutely true. Absolutely true. It is so easy. You see, you're habitual beings and you will get off track unless you discipline yourself. It's the secret to really sticking with this. Also, I want to mention that Vladdy is available to meet with you. If those of you are interested, like really serious about taking your results to another level, and you'd like to have a discussion with Vladdy about which program would be the right one for you, book a call with her.
She's opened up her calendar. She's going to be traveling tomorrow, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, she said she's even willing to take calls on the weekend. So book an appointment with Blatty. The link will be placed in the chat box. There we go. Roddy put it in there right now. It's also on your replay page. Someone had asked the question, when will the replay be available? And so what happens after we're done is the file gets saved. Now we're on for 2 hours, so it ends up being a big file. So it takes a little while to save. So probably, I don't know, 30 minutes to save it. Then we have to upload it. And once it uploads, then it has to optimize. Then it has to go onto the page. So it's probably going to be a couple hours. It's also evening. It's late evening already for Roddy. Depends on if he's willing to stay up late. He usually does. Can't make any promises for him, but he'll very likely help you with that. Okay, I think it's time to give away another gift. Now, here's what I'm going to suggest with the next one. We're going to give you a choice. So we're going to choose a winner. We're going to give you a choice, whether you want the Savvy Wisdom from Beyond book signed, autographed, and sent to you, or Power Life script. So whoever the winner is, you get to choose which gift you want. In this particular case, and I'm going to allow Roddy and Blatty to choose our winner for today. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'll let you guys do that. Now, I did see something else. I'm going to wait till the chat stops here. Yeah, Tootie says, remember, you're not alone. I love that. Okay, I'm going to do a post of a quote into the chat box here just for a moment. And it was something that I saw. Tina Heath is on our call right now. Tina is a lovely lady that I've known for many, many years. She's been in our high-end program as well. Quite an accomplished hypnotherapist, an author, and she wrote Patanjali in the chat box. And I went and found the quote. This is a favorite quote of mine. I just typed it in the right-hand side. I'm going to mention this quote while Blatty and Roddy determine who our winner is. But here's the quote. When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a great, new, and wonderful world. And this is really what Roddy had said earlier. And I'm not sure if that's when Tina had posted it, but when Roddy had said, not a goal that you think you can accomplish. And that's why that quote makes such great sense. You know, when you're inspired by some great purpose, like I'm inspired by making a positive contribution to the lives of millions and millions of people, hundreds of millions of people. And see, when that happens to you, when you really get inspired, your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction. You find yourself in a great, new, and wonderful world. Like I never even thought about writing fiction before. And here I am, 3 books, 21 books in total, but 3 of them are fiction. It's because of the purpose, right? I want you to really think about your purpose as well. It was great to see Tina mentioning that there. Okay. So, Blatty, Roddy, who's our winner? We'll have another one when we get to the top of the hour. Thank you, Lorette. I really appreciate that kind comment there. So, Blatty, Roddy, who's our winner?
We are delighted to give it to Alison, whom I believe preferred a signed book. I think I'm correct.
On. Okay, Alison, well, we'll need your mailing address. And Alison, if you can email support@peggymccall.com and send us your mailing address. And as soon as I have physical copies of the book in my hand, I will autograph them and send them out to you. Okay, I believe we probably have time for another question. I want to bring Lou. Lou's been waiting there. There she is. All right, Lou, how can we serve you? That rhymes.
Oh, wow. Thank you. So my question is, I have a knowing. I just have that knowing.
Love it.
I don't know when, but I have the knowing. I'm taking actions. I believe. So my question is, because I have this knowing, it's not I'm so excited. I'm very neutral. I feel very neutral. So sometimes I wonder, because emotion's the magnet, right? So because I'm kind of neutral,
this is so good. So good, Lou. I am so glad you asked this question. I have goosebumps that you've asked this question, and I want everyone to really listen to this answer. Okay, so what Lou is saying is she's got a knowing, right? A knowing that it's done, I'm assuming, right? Like the goal's already there. Okay. This is where all of you want to be. Okay. All of you. Why? Because you're at a point of conviction. The point of conviction means that you have firmly impressed into your consciousness that this is done. It is the best way, the most magnificent way, the easiest way to attract into your life. Now, if you're not there yet, if you haven't accomplished your goal yet, it's because you're not there. You see, what Lou is saying is that she feels the accomplishment of her goal is natural. That's what Neville Goddard teaches in The Power of Awareness. He says this, and I think it's in the chapter on failure. He said, the reason why people have not accomplished the goals that they set for themselves is because they don't feel it naturally. You have to get to the point of conviction. Now, this may be inviting a question for many of you on this call. It certainly would have invited this question for me, and that would be how? How do you get, does anyone want to know how do you get to the point of conviction? Yes, no, there we are. All right, good. Okay, I thought that might light up our screen here. You got to build it. You got to build it. Now, Lou, what you did was by experiencing and still continuing to experience that point of conviction, it may have happened to you very easily. It may have. We all have the ability for that to happen easily. Every one of us has the ability to have that point of conviction. But the reason why people don't is because they don't have the understanding or the awareness that you can have it, and you can have it like that. You can have it like that. And so what you do is you practice the knowing, you practice the feeling of, now that this is done, it's like that question that I asked you all to consider earlier in this call. Now that that has accomplished in your life, and we've seen some goals and comments in the chat box here about making a difference in Latin America, right? To Latin speaking women. I saw that comment there. And she said that she was inspired by what I said about making a positive and beneficial contribution to the lives of hundreds of millions of people. You got to know that. You got to know that it's done. Now, if you don't know it now, then you got to build it. How do you build it? And now somebody wrote visualization. I would say, yeah, that's part of it. It doesn't even matter what you do, what the technique is. What matters most is how are you feeling? That's why feeling is the secret. So how do you get there? I believe the easiest, the best, the most efficient way of doing that is through a Power Life script. Why? Because you impress it into your subconscious mind over and over again by listening over and over again to you, talking to you about how amazing your life is. Conviction. Yes, the word is conviction. Point of conviction. You're there now. So nothing wrong with you, Lou. You're a master manifestor.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Hanan had her hand up. Where'd she go? All right, well, we got 2 minutes left, and I want to encourage people to definitely book an appointment with the lovely Vladdy. She is there. She is. She's back. Okay, Hanan, we're going to bring you in. We'll do it quick, okay? We just got a couple of minutes left, and then we're going to do a bonus or a gift as well. So if you could unmute your line for us, please.
Hi, Peggy. Hi,
Hi.
Val.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. By the way, my sister is on the call as well. I invited her and she's very excited. Okay, so Peggy, the question that I have is, okay, so based on my studying is that like in order to manifest our dreams, we are we have our own vibrations, but
Yes.
also dreams have vibrations of their own. My question is, how can I be in the vibration of my dream? Like, how can I make it closer so I can manifest it, you know?
Okay. Well, you said the word closer. There's closer is not going to do it. Like closer won't do it. You got to know it's here now. It's here now. That is in your life now.
So it's about the feel. Like, for example, now I am working on my script, my Power script. So I think the element that is still missing, so I write it in a way that I'm grateful that I have this and this and this, but maybe I should stress more on the feeling, because I didn't finish your course 100%, but maybe the feeling would make it closer.
Definitely. Yeah, it's the feeling attracts it into your life, but you got to feel as if it's there now. Now that is in your life, how do you feel? That's the question you ask yourself all day long. Now that this is in my life, how do I feel? Now that this is in my life, how do I feel? Now that I've accomplished this goal, how do I feel? That's what you want to focus on all day long.
And what happens when we sometimes like have like negative events that happens within our day that makes us, you know, I don't know.
Nothing makes you anything. You're choosing how you feel. So if there's negative events, look at them as the blessing that they are. Oh, that's fascinating that occurred. You know, now that you see, it's like the expression. There's two expressions. One is deny the evidence of the senses. That means you stop looking at what is and staying emotionally involved in that. And the other one was what Bob Proctor used to say, stop looking at present results and continuing to feel those present results. You've got to imagine, right? You've got to get to that new way of thinking. He called it a new mind. Many of the great teachers, master teachers, calls it a new mind. You got to create a new mind. That new mind is Hanan already experiencing everything that she desires. It's here now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Peggy.
You're very welcome. Okay, well, who's our final winner and what are we giving away, guys? I'll leave it up to you. What do you want to give away? Or do you want to leave it up to the winner, whatever they want? Yeah? Okay. Peggy book. All right, cool. Okay, let's choose a winner and we're going to call it a wrap and we're going to meet up again tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Now, tomorrow we'll be doing prizes again. And we'll be covering off more content. We're going to get more into the livingness. So Hanan, come on back with your sister. I love that you were here today. And I love that you invited her. That really says a lot about who you are as well. So who's our winner?
So many comments, so many great feedback. It's quite a challenge. Anybody in particular, Vladdy, that stood out for you? I know you've been on the session the full time. If she's
I have written down Lila Phillips.
Lila Phillips?
Lila Phillips, sorry. Apologies for messing up your name.
Very nice. All right, Lila, congratulations. Now you tell us what you would love, the book or Power Life script, and we will reward you with that. All right. I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Vladdy. Thank you, Roddy. I really appreciate you. Such a blessing to serve with you. I love your heart. I love how you're such in a spirit of service and how you contribute so greatly to everything that we do. So thank you so much. And I want to thank everyone for being here with us. You know, we couldn't do this without you, obviously. And so we love serving you. We're delighted to be here to serve you. And we'll be back again tomorrow at 12 noon for another 2-hour power session. All right. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Peggy.
Appreciate you. You're very welcome. Bye-bye for now.